probably heard heaps about 251s. This video is just to explain what they actually are and why they're really helpful to practice. So, quite simply, in any major scale, the 251 is just talking about the chords that happen on that degree of the scale. So in C, the 2 is the D minor chord, the G chord, and the C chord. That's essentially what a 251 is. Now these chord progressions happen all the time in jazz standards. They're usually at the end of a phrase. You get them in minor keys too. So there's a couple of examples of 251s in the jazz settings. So how I like to use 251s in my practice regime is, first of all, target what is it I'm actually practicing. Am I practicing my walking bass line? So I might do my 251 in C, and then a 251 in G, and I might do a 251 in D. And what I'm actually doing there is I'm just cycling through different key centers. If I go systematically and practice my walking bass line through all 12 keys, in theory, next time I see a 251 in the sheet music, if I can identify that quickly, I've got that bass line under my fingers and that'll just flow out in my playing. That's one example. I could be actually focusing on my harmony. I might be working on some nice chord voicings that I haven't played before. And there's a whole load of chord voicings or chord inversions that you can try out over chord charts. See, this is the same chord progression, just using different inversion there. So again, if I've learnt a new chord inversion, I might put that through all the different keys. There's a 251 in G, then a 251 in D. So just using that same pattern in a different key and just cycling it through all 12 keys. And as well as practicing your harmony through your 251s, you can also practice melodies through the 251s as well. So here's a little lick I learnt off a YouTube video the other day. And if I really wanted to get that lick into my vocabulary, I could practice it over my 251s. And then I analyse it and go, alright, so I'm starting on the major 7th of the 1 chord. I might try that in G major. So I'll start off the major 7th of the 1 chord, do my 251 in the left hand. Follow that same shape of the lick in a different key. If I've learnt a new lick or I've learnt something online or I've just heard something in a recording, I'll stop and work it out and then I'll just take it through the key centers. Now listen, taking everything through all 12 keys is quite laborious. I probably wouldn't move on to the next key until you've really nailed the other one. So if you've feeling like, okay, I've got this in C, that's great, I'll move on to G, and when you move on to G, you're kind of taking some time to work out what it is, and I got there in the end, but it's not confident. Again, I just keep looping it around, and I wouldn't move on to the next key until I feel I can play it without stopping. So it might mean repeating 251s. You might spend a whole first day of your practice session just in one key, just really unpacking it. But I think the main thing is that you think, all right, what am I focusing on here? Am I focusing on a bass line? Am I focusing on harmony? Am I focusing on melody? And if I am focusing on harmony, am I focusing on my right hand or my left hand? So in my other video, I talk about bass, harmony, and melody and how we can approach that with piano. It's exactly the same thing when we're talking through these 2-5-1s. You could be practicing for accompaniment style, so you might be bass line and harmony, or you might be working on your solo piano skills, but meaning that you have to improvise and do your bass lines at the same time. Again, you might be working in a band, so you might have to actually do these left-hand comp voicing. There you have it. Use this 2-5-1 technique as a bit of a sandbox to try out new things. But like I said in the video about harmony, bass and melody, remember you've got to practice your hands separately until you're really fluid in whatever it is you've practiced. And then you can incorporate that other hand into the element. So if you know that solo playing is going to be your thing, spend some time working on your bass lines first, because these will create a good foundation for all the other things to sit on top. Or if you want to work on your melodies, yeah, use some backing tracks off the internet and just work on your right hand. There's heaps and heaps of 2-5-1 backing tracks out there, so yeah, get exploring and see what's going to work best for you. Great, I hope from this lesson you learned a little bit about what 2-5-1s are and how you can actually approach them for your practice session. Remember that any melodic riff that you find, or interesting chord inversion you find, or interesting bass line you can all be taken through these 2-5-1 exercises and cycle through some different keys. So next time you're playing a chart, you should be ready for any key in any situation. Hey, I hope you found that tip about 2-5-1s and how you can use them for your practice routine helpful. I'll be talking a lot more about 2-5-1s and breaking down those examples of little practice techniques that you can do. I really hope you're enjoying the content on this channel. I'm loving making it, and yeah, if you think other people will find it valuable, share it with them. But otherwise, see you in the next video. Cheers, guys.